Thanks for joining me on this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content on the channel. And also be sure to follow me on these other social media platforms. Links are in the description below. All right, have and have not fans, more specifically, a former cast member of the show, Tony Watson, aka Patrick Facette. I hope I pronounced your last name right, but I told you it was a long time coming, but a Tony video. And I know you commented on an Instagram post of mine, the picture where you got Tony and Benny in jail, well, in the interrogation room or whatever. And it dawned on me how Tony could be brought back into the show, because seemingly enough, it looks like Celine is actually going to be in season 7. The actor that portrays Broderick Giovanni posted a photo, which I'm not going to put in this video, but I'm still trying to dissect the photo itself. It's I guess it's like a wall of talent or whatever for the haves and have-nots, and it has like all the characters from season 7, and there's a lot, folks. There's a lot. That's why it's taking so long to get the notes together, because some pictures and names I can't read, but it looks like we have a lot of new people coming up and old faces too. But since Celine is seemingly coming back, I was wondering how we can bring back Tony to wrap up his storyline. And we all know it has to do with the whole kidney situation, what happened with him. And once again, folks, it is hard to imagine, but we need to remember that the last time we saw Tony was when Benny kicked him out of Hannah's house, which lets you know right then and there, it's been several days since we've seen Tony, due to the fact that, you know, this was in Hannah's house before Quincy destroyed it. And, you know, when she temporarily moved in with Benny before he ended up losing his house in the tow company, then they were in the motel, then, you know, the whole situation with Quincy Jr. So for us, it's been at least a year. I could be wrong, but I'm just talking off the top of my head here. It feels like it's been almost a couple of years since we saw Tony. And keep in mind that, if I'm not mistaken, Tyler Perry typically films these episodes like a year in advance. So it's probably been like 2 or 3 years since, you know, Tony was filmed, or Patrick was filming. But I think the best way to bring back Tony, aside from the whole kidney thing, well, actually the kidney thing applies. It kind of goes back to my video where I talked about, you know, can Candace and Hannah heal their relationship? And I talked about the possibility of Charles giving Candace a little push, or, you know, Derek giving Hannah a little push to make those two come together. But also the fact that, you know, Hannah said, I stopped praying, I can't pray anymore. But then Derek helped her out with that. And I was thinking to myself, perhaps it is a possibility that things begin to get better for Hannah and Candace. And then, you know, also between Derek and Benny, you know, the fact that I really can't wait until the next episode, October 2nd, where it looks like those two are finally sitting down and talking with each other. And I was wondering, it would be pretty interesting if those two come to a mutual respect. And really, it's not even Derek that I'm worried about. It's just Benny being so damn disrespectful. I hope he changes that. And what I would really like is for him to have a positive male role model in his life. Because remember, Tony was never in Benny's life to begin with, so he's never had a father figure. So to open up to the possibility of, okay, my mom really likes the guy, she's going to be dating him, but then I could see Derek giving him some valid advice. I mean, the fact that he has 3 sons of his own really shows that he has experience. But also, I feel that this show is really has a knack for, anytime a character seems to be doing better in life, I'm not just talking money or anything, but I'm just meaning generally happy in life, something from their past comes up, or something happens in the present that wrecks how they're feeling in the moment. Like everything is going good for maybe 3 episodes or maybe half a season, but then it all goes crazy. I could imagine that, you know, Benny is warming up to Derek, Hannah and Candace are kind of making amends. You know, they're improving. You know, they're not fully healed, but they're improving. Hannah's happy with Derek. But then all of a sudden, you know, Benny is done with the Malones. They're handled and everything. But then out of the blue, we get Tony coming back. And then, you know, it's sending Benny into a frenzy because he's upset. And I feel like it is pretty clear that if Tony comes back, it has to be known to Benny. It has to be made known to Benny that he needs that kidney. Due to the fact that I just feel like to have him absent for the show for so long, but still not have the kidney, even if it's only been a few days, is really ridiculous. I feel like, look, don't stretch that out anymore. Kind of like, remember, season 1 was when we knew about Catherine's breast cancer, and it wasn't even brought up until this year in season 5. So, and by Wyatt. So I could really see that if Tony came back, Benny would have to be made aware of this, and have Candace involved too, because remember, Hannah and Candace both were aware that Tony was trying to get Benny off of life support. So that's a given. But I did a video a while back about Tony and Benny as well, that if and I think Melissa was involved in my theory that, yeah, have Melissa like, look, I got into this mess with Veronica and Jeffrey because I was trying to save my dad and I failed. But if I had the opportunity to do it again, I don't know if I would change anything because I would do anything to save my dad. So we loved each other. You and your dad may not have had a relationship, but that's your dad. So help him out if you can with the kidney. And I would love it if Benny would be drawn to make the choice himself. Like, they have not done Benny any favors this season in terms of giving his character a good arc or development. Just one dumb decision after another, jumping from one bed to one couch to whatever. But to be honest with Melissa, I don't think I could fight it. But I feel like Tony, bring him back, but not as a love interest for Hannah. Like, you know, he's trying to get with Hannah. He's jealous of Derek. No, not that. Make it Benny focused. Give Benny a good arc in the show. And by extension, that involves bringing Tony back. And then Derek, you know, I could definitely see Derek being like the Rock in that situation where Hannah's going to freak out because, you know, she doesn't want anything to do with that low down dirty dog and to stay away from my son because of the fact that he would never tell Benny the truth about why he wanted him off life support. And that's one reason why Tony was kicked out of the house before. But I could see Derek, you know, calming her down in that situation and being generally concerned because, you know, again, that's Hannah's son and what happens to him affects her and by extension affects him. So I can definitely see a decent sit down and conversation where Benny is given the choice of whether or not he would donate the kidney. But first off, and this has to be said, and I really wish this was done in season 2 instead of Tony rushing to take him off life support, at least give a blood. I don't really know how this works, but given the fact that nurse told Hannah that Tony has come in here, he's been a flirt, and he's just been bringing a bunch of his kids in there to see if they are a match for him in order to donate a kidney. So I imagine that involves maybe some blood test and whatnot. Why not just give Benny a blood test first, just to see if he's a match? Because he was like, Benny, he's laying in there. He can save me, Hannah. I know he can. And I'm just like, that's a big call to make because you don't know for sure. He's most likely your last resort, like the last child you have that hasn't been tested yet. Have the test first. I think that should be done first. Don't make it where Benny agrees to do it. Well, I mean, technically you could have him agree to do it, then he's not a match, then Tony dies. But then they have a heart-to-heart before he does. But I wish they would have a blood test and then Benny's a match and then give him the choice to do so. That way, at the bare minimum, if he isn't a match, then Tony could, you know, leave or whatever, or it'll be one of those situations where he's not, you know, pulling a Justin just popping out of nowhere. But I do feel that if Benny is a match and decides to give him the kidney, those two actually form a relationship, or at the same time, it's just like, you know, look, you weren't there, but that's okay. I made a lot of mistakes and maybe I wouldn't have if I had a father in my life, but then Tony is left and that's it. But that's a good way to close out his character arc. Well, maybe not, but I think that would do more for Benny than Tony. But on the flip side, remember that Tony has a bunch of kids and his son is a sex hound apparently in this season as well. So, I mean, hey, father-son bonding. But I feel like Derek would probably be a voice of reason to Benny in that situation, where Candace and Hannah will be like, hell to the no, you ain't helping him. but I could probably see Derek being a voice of reason in that situation there. But at the same time, I could imagine that Benny would actually do the right thing. If it was season 1 Benny, I could pre-hit and run coma Benny, I could definitely see him doing that, helping him out. But at the same time, I'm like, let's do something to give Benny a more serious character arc, something that doesn't dumb down his intelligence. And please, you know what? That would be great, because I can imagine if they do the kidney transplant and whatnot, they would probably go back to, I believe it was Mercy Hospital. Not only would this be a great way to reintroduce Tony, but also reintroduce the doctor that was taking care of Benny when he was in the hospital, the one that was trying to tell Hannah what the possible side effects of being taken off of life support would have been, but Hannah wasn't trying to hear that. She's like, no, if there's a chance, take them off. Not only would this be, and hear me out, Patrick, if you, well, I hope you're still listening to this. I hope you message this to Tyler Perry, because here's how I think we can really do things. Not only could we be reintroducing Tony and also the whole getting closure on the kidney arc, but also by reintroducing Tony and then the Mercy Hospital and whatnot, by bringing back the doctor that was treating Benny. Could you bring back the nurse that Benny knew from high school that got the phone number from and he never called? Possibly you could do that. I don't care. But really, what could be done in this arc is 2 birds with 1 kidney stone. Excuse me, 1 stone. You got the Tony kidney thing, but also if you bring back the doctor that was treating Benny, we could finally know what the side effects were, and that would explain why he's been acting so weird and irrational since the hit and run accident and being taken off life support. Then Hannah would finally know what the hell has been going on for her son. That's a story. So Patrick, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it took a while, but I finally got a Tony video for you. I hope you share this to Tyler Perry and Owen and be like, yo, there's this guy with this Have and Have Not YouTube channel. Tyler, if you haven't already, check him out. This kid has, well, I'm not a kid, but this young guy has over 1,200. Yeah, I got over 1,200 videos on this channel, mostly talking about Tyler Perry shows. So if this works, you know, Patrick, give me a shout out. But I hope it does work out for you to be brought back to the show. But like I said before, because it seems that Celine is being brought back, and then we had the breast cancer from season 1 from Catherine brought up after all this time. I don't think that the whole kidney thing is something that's swept under the rug. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you feel like Tony should be brought back? Do you feel like this is a possible valid story arc that he will be brought back for? I don't see it happening until maybe season 8 due to the fact that they're wrapping up season 7 at this moment. But subscribe if you haven't done so already. Share this video around, and I'll talk to you all soon.